Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn a little bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and new video announced, you'll be the first one getting notifications. Now it's very important to actually subscribe. Why? Because in the world of immigration, more specifically in Australia, I think in US, Canada, it's all the same. The policy changes all the time and there's always news and you're required to get updated. Otherwise, probably won't be able to catch up with the pace of the change of the policy. Anyway, in this video, I'd like to focus on a part which is doesn't sound too good, but the video is here to actually promote and share the information more for your own protections. So the topic is all about domestic violence. What is it? It's about, you getting hit and harassed at home by your partner. Now, this kind of conduct is not acceptable, and it's also a criminal conduct as well by law in Australia. So if it's visa related, obviously a lot of migrants move and relocate themselves to Australia, might be unfortunate and facing this kind of situation. So what can you do to protect yourself? Now, this is not really just for women, but some men also. But in fact, with all the statistics and historical data, obviously women is more vulnerable in this part. So if you're a woman or if you have a loved one, this video might be good, or just for knowledge wise, that there's somewhere to protect yourself if you do see these kind of things happen. Okay, now obviously it's more related to partner visa. I'm not saying all other visa holders won't have this kind of issue, but there is a specific provision for partner visa if you do face some sort of family violence or domestic violence or harassment at home. We will go into a specific page, which I think the immigration website is quite good on this one. They have prepared all the information. It's quite well. I'm not required and I don't need to dig out additional legal resources from elsewhere. I think the explanation is quite good. So you might want to do your own Google, and what you do is you type in Home Affairs in space domestic and family violence. Okay, so again you see that there's information here. It's quite warm, but let's go through it, and I'll go through every single tab up here to also explain what sort of assistance that the government of Australia could actually assist you. So domestic violence and family violence is not acceptable under the circumstances and is a crime. That's what I have just said. Under the criminal code for federal, Commonwealth, or every state, it's not acceptable. So if you do have experience on this one, make sure you do the following action. Obviously there are some contact detail down here: National Support Translating Services, and call 000 for emergency if it's really that bad. Domestic and family violence is any conduct that makes you fear. Remember, now this is the key. If you don't have the fear, obviously it's not there. So fear is the key to actually test whether there is a domestic violence there. For your and your family's safety and well-being, it may be directed at you, okay? Your family. I'm not too sure how they can test the pets or property. So I haven't seen a scenario like this. So for example, you mean threaten that they will kill your pet. Anyway, so that can be counted as well. Okay, you and your family do not have to remain in relationship where you fear for you and your family safety to stay in Australia. Domestic and family violence can include the following. Let's have read: Physical violence, that's pretty easy to identify. So get hit by force, sexual assault. Verbal, emotional can be as well, because sometimes some words can actually, and in long term, not just one night, but if it's going to be long term, a month, 3 months, half year, being abused by verbal, that can be counted as family violence as well. Controlling behavior, so they're actually controlling you. You don't have the freedom to do whatever you want. Stalking, what is stalking? Stalking is like wherever you go or wherever you are, they're putting a surveillance on you. They're checking on you all the time, checking on your phone, checking on where you go, checking on who you talk to. That's stalking. Technology facilitated abuse. Now that can be, for example, they're putting a lot of abusive words, photographs, perhaps on Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, whatever it is, that makes you feel uncomfortable and you have that fear. Again, fear is the key here. Okay, if you don't have the fear, that won't get you, that won't qualify you the circumstances as a family violence. Okay, financial abuse, not giving you access to the bank. I think that's gonna be hard, or not giving you that's very hard nowadays, unless you're really being imprisonment or something like that. I'm not too sure how that can actually happen. Abuse of elderly. You got elderly father visiting you and they got abused. Whether it's going to be verbal, physical, that's all not acceptable here. Forced isolation, economy deprivation, including dowry related abuse. So that basically lock you into some places, not allow you to access elsewhere. Okay, where can you get help? Let's go into that tab there. Now obviously you should really contact 000, call the police. So you need to get, the police will give you a protection order. Now that is very important once we move downward to see different kind of visa that can actually assist you, because protection order could initiate a lot of other protections and visa related work for you. So how can you do it? Well, basically call 000, and there are type of protection that you can depend on state and territory. May call domestic violence order, family violence order, restraining order, personal protection order, intervention order, apprehended violence order, or family violence intervention order. So it's all different names, but that because different states do tend to name things differently. But as you see, it's all the same. So all you need to do is call 000. So there are additional information down on this website and all the different domestic violence hotline for every single state. So New South Wales, Northern Territory, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, Western Australia. Okay, now let's move on to the next tab. How can we help? We, not me. The way we is actually indicating the website's owner, that's Department of Home Affairs, Immigration. So how can immigration help? The role of Department of Home Affairs has zero tolerance of domestic and family violence against anyone, including permanent or temporary visa holder. Okay, so the role of the support victim and domestic violence is to regularize persons' visa status. What does that mean? Basically, they will not allowing the perpetrator to utilize this to actually get you out of the country, because you will lose visa. So regularize means they will perhaps giving you permanent residency. Now, if that's the case, okay, but every case is a little bit different. However, this is a video for information knowledge base to actually protect yourself if things do happen. Okay, how do you inform immigration? If you've been experienced domestic and family violence and are concerned about your visa status, you can contact the immigration. If your relationship status has changed due to domestic and family violence, you can let us know about this change. We will assist you to resolve the visa issue. So that there is some form down there you can actually contact, or online, so even a telephone call, although that phone call, that number generally provides zero help. But anyway, you should really, another way to do it is you find a legal representative or migration agent who has experience on this. They will assist you on that as well. Unless there's an immediate threat to your life or immediate risk of harm or their mandatory child reporting obligation of exits, we will not refer matter to the police without your consent. So that's how the procedure works. Okay, visa cancellations. Wow, obviously, if you're the victim, you don't want your visa to be cancelled. Only the minister and delegate officer has power to refuse and cancel personal visa. What does that mean? That sentence is actually very important because that's trying to say to the public that the abuser, okay, has no power to cancel or refuse your visa. Okay, so only unless they're giving out fraud and fake information, mislead the government to actually cancel you. But obviously if they do that, you will government will respond to you and you will say the fact. Normally that won't really happen because the perpetrator, if they know they had done something wrong, they won't go to the government because that won't help, and that won't help them at all. A perpetrator of domestic and family violence cannot cancel your visa, as what I have just explained. If you're a perpetrator of domestic and family violence, you may be refused or cancelled. No, that means if you do have the visa. But if you're an Australian citizen, obviously it's a different role. Okay, we do not encourage visa applicant to remain in violence and dangerous relationship for a visa outcome under any circumstances. If you're experiencing this kind of violence, and strong encourage you to contact police and seek assistance. And I think that's the reason I'm providing this video as well. So you get knowledge, you understand what happened, how you could actually protect yourself. Now, removing visa application from email account. So it is important to set up your own email account. You don't want yourself to be controlled from email if the perpetrator does have the control of your email account. That's the visa account. Generally, no, that's not really the case. Okay, temporary visa holders. Visa holder experiencing domestic violence will not have their visa cancelled if their relationship break down because of the violence. Only minister has the power. Now, that's repeating. We are committed to work with the victim to resolve the situation. So they may provide additional visa to extend, if you're, for example, a student visa or whatever the visa that it is, they will assist you on that one. Now, very important, partner visa. If you're lodging a partner visa and your sponsor is the perpetrator, for example, then here we go. Let's have read the detail. Visa holder experiencing domestic violence will not have the visa cancelled if the relationship breakdown because of the violence. Only minister, again, has the power to cancel or refuse. If you're experiencing the violence, you can apply consideration under special provision. Now, here we go. Special provision for family violence under Migration Regulation 1994. You may be eligible for your visa if you're applying for marriage. So that's a 300, 820, waiting for your outcome for 820. Temporary partner visa in 20 or 309. That's where you have your partner visa granted and you already enter into Australia. Then obviously your relationship will end. So what will happen if you already have those partner visas? Once they could confirm that the violence is there, you will be given regularize your visa by means of providing straight away a permanent residency. But that's only for partner visa. Bear in mind, only for partner visa. Now, what evidence do you need? Obviously, you need court documents. So that is from where the police have issued the domestic violence order, and there will be an injunction on the family law and relevant stuff. So this actually requires a lot of legal profession to actually extract those things out. So that will probably include a migration agent there to assist the matter. So that once that's done, there will be a form. You can see down here. No, up here. Okay, 1410 statutory declaration for family violence claim. okay, and type of evidence, medical reports. I'm not going to go through detail. So registered, the doctor had given you a medical report, identify alleged victim, detail of physical injuries, report of assault, witness statements, so somebody might already witness and seen what happened. Police and state, territory, or federal police had got involved, got a report, police report, identify victim again, and detail of the violence. Statutory declaration made by an officer, so they can be a child welfare authority, showing that your kids has been physically harassed. Okay. So alleged perpetrator, letter of assessment report by a women's refuge, a family domestic crisis center. There are some state authority there. Stack deck made by Australian Association of Social Fair Workers. So you might access to not Medicare, Centrelink. Here we go. Member association, and they will provide statement. Stack deck made by registered psychologists, so it can be emotional stuff. Remember, we talked about the verbal abuse, using Facebook abuse, and you got that mental thing. So you attend an appointment with a psychologist, and there's a report showing you're the alleged victim. Stack that made by family consultants. So all these kind of things can actually help. And also letter from school. So school might notice that the kid has been, emotional abused, physically abused, and all this will actually help. Now, how that will actually present with the form 1410 will actually result with the finalization and regularize your visa status. That means giving you a permanent residency, so you can enjoy your life with your kid with freedom. No more of this kind of harassment or violence. Remember, the family domestic violence is a crime. It's not acceptable and not tolerated by government of Australia and any states and territories. Anyhow, should you have more question or query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I see you next video. Goodbye.